All right, we head to Florida for some more holiday tournament action. Happy Thanksgiving to my American friends. Let's go ahead and let's start talking about one of the early games, Alabama versus Xavier. Xavier's come out pretty well so far this year, maybe a little bit underrated going in. Alabama rebuilding mode. We got Avery Johnson as the head coach. Who doesn't like Avery Johnson? But he's got a ways to go. They have a good point guard in Retin Obasan, but that's about it. They don't have much after that. They do like to push some tempo. Xavier, pretty good team. They handled Michigan in Michigan, but Michigan may be a touch overrated as well, so I'm not putting a whole lot of stock into that. I'm going to grab the 10.5 points here on Alabama. I think that's just a bit too much. I don't expect them to beat Xavier, but I expect them to hang with them until the end. Let's start talking about these two teams. Alabama, they come in so far this season, they're averaging 76.7 points per game, shooting 45.1% from the field and 38.7% from beyond the arc. Like I mentioned, they have a good point guard in Obasahan. Got to say that 5 times facts. And I like Avery Johnson. I think he's going to rebuild that program. I think they're going to compete in the SEC, but they're a couple years away. They got a couple of good recruits, and I like their backcourt. I think their backcourt's going to be able to run up and down with Xavier, and I think they're going to want to run some tempo here because overall, athletically, they're a bit overmatched. So look for Alabama to try and push some pace here to stay within that 10. I think they do it. Defensively, Alabama on the year, they're allowing 79 points per game, 42.6% shooting from the field, and 40.3% from beyond the arc. Those are not great numbers. They got to defend better. But on this neutral floor, and the fact that I think they're going to go up and down the floor during this game, allows me to go ahead and take that 10.5. I think that's just a little bit too much to give a pretty decent Alabama team against a good Xavier team. All right, let's talk about Xavier. Chris Mack, very underrated coach. I don't know why he doesn't get more press. He's an extremely good basketball coach. So far this year, the Musketeers, they're averaging 80.8 points per game, shooting 41% from the field and 35% from beyond the arc. They do everything well offensively, nothing outstanding. They're pretty deep this year, and I expect them to make a pretty good push come March. Defensively, not bad either. They're a well-coached team. On the year, they're allowing 68.5 points per game, 41.3% shooting from the field, and 37.4% from beyond the arc. Those are all solid numbers. But again, I think tonight the tempo is going to be dictated by the guards, and so I look for a lot of pace here. And again, I like for Alabama to cover this spread. I think 10.5 is just a bit too much on this neutral floor, so I'm going to back the Tide. And I wish you guys luck on your NCAA college picks.